Today's video is all about prerequisites for nursing school. So I'm going to be giving you a list of classes that you'll have to take before you can apply to your nursing program. I won't be going in depth on what each class is like or what to expect. So if you're interested in a video like that, go ahead and give me a comment down below and I'd be happy to make that video for you. Your prerequisites will change depending on what kind of nursing program you're going into. So if you didn't know, there are two types of nursing programs, an ADN and a BSN. We'll start with BSN because that's what I'm in. A BSN stands for Bachelor of Science in Nursing. It's like any other bachelor degree or undergrad degree. It takes 4 years to complete your BSN. The first year is your gen ed classes, typically repeat classes from high school, but everyone has to do them to graduate. Your second year is the prerequisite classes for nursing, so a lot of science classes, and I'll be sharing all those at the end of the video, so stay tuned. The last 2 years of your BSN degree are your nursing program. So you'll be learning your nursing skills in labs and classes, and you'll be getting all your clinical hours done. And then when you finish your BSN degree, you can go take the NCLEX and become a registered nurse. An ADN takes 2 years to complete. It's like if you took that nursing program for BSN and then that's all you were doing. There's a couple of prereqs, but not as many. An ADN is great because you get the same nursing skills in a shorter amount of time. You're not in school as long, so you're not paying as much money, and you get to start working sooner, so you're making more money. The downside of an ADN is that people say it's harder to get a job. Now, there's conflicting sides on this. Some believe that that's true, some don't. Typically, bigger hospitals are looking to hire BSN nurses. This is because they have those science classes backing up their knowledge. They technically have had more education so they can understand why they're doing the nursing skills that they are instead of just following doctor's orders. However, typically hospitals will still hire an ADN nurse. They just will require you to get your BSN within the first 5 years of working at the hospital. This means that you have to do an RN to BSN degree. I know that my school provides an online RN to BSN program that you can take in 10 months. So if you did your ADN degree in 2 years and then did the RN to BSN, that's only 3 years of schooling. And typically the hospitals that did hire the ADNs and are requiring them to get education will pay a portion of their schooling to have their BSN. BSNs are good because you can be promoted into nursing management positions and you can apply to grad school whenever you're ready. You have to have that BSN degree to be able to apply to grad school. I chose a BSN because I was always planning on going to a 4-year college, and I had already decided that I wanted to do nursing before I graduated high school. Had I started college not knowing what I wanted to do and then decided I wanted to go into nursing after 2 years of school, I might have considered doing an ADN simply because that would have cut back on having to redo my first 2 years of college. I also was fortunate enough to not have to worry about finances during college. I have a full academic scholarship, which means my first 4 years of college were free. So it just made sense for me to get that BSN right away and not have to go back to school and pay for it. I also want to go to grad school to become a midwife. So now, once I get enough job experience, I can apply to grad school whenever I'm ready without having to go back to school and worrying about getting that second program finished with. As you can see, there's pros and cons to both sides. An ADN is just as good as a BSN, and a BSN is just as good as an ADN. It really just depends on what situation you're in. If you want to be a nurse, go ahead and go for it, no matter which program you choose.
I thought the easiest way to do this would be showing you something that my university has called Degreeworks. Degreeworks is where we go online to see if we're on track to graduate, if we've taken all the classes that are required, and it also is a place where we can go to plan out our classes for our future semesters. We'll start with this Gen Eds section. So our Gen Eds, I had to do 2 classes that the university required. One was information literacy, and this was just a class that showed us how to research and use the library. It was a dumb class, but we had to take it to graduate. And then the other one we had to take to graduate was computer literacy, and that showed us how to use Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, things we already knew, but we had to take it for graduation. Other things we had to take to get that bachelor's degree was fine arts, which I took an intro to music course. And quick side note, quick little story. I took intro to music over the summer before I even moved to college. I took it online. Um, I had to be enrolled in the university to be able to practice with the gymnastics team, and they wanted us to come and practice with them before school even started. So I moved to school in July, whereas most students would have moved like at the end of August. So in order to practice with the team, I had to be enrolled in the class, and this is the one I took. You didn't need to know that, but a little bit about me and my gymnastics career. The next couple that we had to take to graduate was a humanities one, so I took Intro to Diversity, super easy class. General Psychology and General Biology I took to finish some sciences, and also elementary chemistry and that lab. These last four, the psychology, biology, chemistry, and chemistry lab, those also counted as nursing prereqs, or like I had to take them in order to take the higher classes, the higher science classes for prerequisites. So those were worth something. These top four just had to take to get my gen eds done. Like I said, gen eds are typically classes that you've already taken in high school. They just make you take it to get that undergrad degree. But my number one advice to you with gen eds is to put that effort in, even if you find them boring, because those good grades will boost your GPA and you won't have to worry so much about having a good GPA later on. Those nursing classes in the program are difficult. And so if your GPA is already low from having bad grades in your gen ed classes, you're going to struggle in the nursing program and having a good GPA at the end of your degree. I will be making a couple videos on how to take notes, how to keep a planner, how to study in the next couple of weeks, and I really suggest that you subscribe to my channel so that you can see those videos, because I'm really excited to make them. I have some great study tips and I can't wait to share with you guys. Moving on to our prerequisites. You can see that I have A's in all of these classes. I'm not saying that to brag. I just want to show that I did well in these classes and that I can help you guys. Subscribe to my channel to get those study skills. I'm super excited to share them with you guys. So let's go in order that I took them. So let's see, fall 2017. So I took that psychology to finish my gen ed. This was my first semester of college. So I took psychology, and it looks like I took statistics. Next up is spring 2018. This semester was kind of hard, if I remember correctly. Okay, so I took nutrition. Nutrition isn't that bad. Just pay attention in class. And I took human development through the lifespan. That one's really interesting for those of you who are going into nursing. You're probably going to like this as well. Not a bad class at all. Really interesting, fun to learn. Next is microbiology. That is why this semester was difficult. Microbiology is all about the viruses and pathogens that infect your body, and you go over how they take over your cells to produce a sickness or illness. I'm pretty sure nursing and athletic training or exercise science were like the only majors that had to take microbiology at my university, but it's a pretty difficult class. They make you memorize lots of different pathogens and their weird Latin names, so I will definitely make a video on how to pass that class. If you're interested, just leave me a comment down below. That lab also smelled so bad. Like, the actual things you had to do in the class weren't that bad, but the lab smelled horrible. Okay, moving on to the next one. Fall 2018. People said I was crazy this semester because I took human anatomy and the lab going along with it, physiology and the lab, and elementary chemistry and the lab all at the same time. I took anatomy and physiology at the same time, which people say is like a no-no, but anatomy is where you learn all the bones, all the muscles, and you learn structures of the brain, and you learn structures of the ear and the eye and all those little things. It's basically just memorizing words and where they go. Physiology is about the hormones, the nerves in your body, how your brain gets things done, how your heart works, how your muscles work. I loved physiology because it just explained everything we were learning at the same time in anatomy. People say you shouldn't take them at the same time most people say to do anatomy this semester before you take physiology, simply because going into physiology, you know all those structures. But I would say that's not necessary. You can definitely learn physiology without taking anatomy before, because I was able to do them both at the same time. Lastly, elementary organic biochemistry and lab. That class was freaking hard. It was a mix of organic chemistry and biochemistry, specifically for nursing students. We are the only ones that had to take this class. It's usually split up, like you take organic chemistry and then you take biochemistry. So the med students would do that, the pre-med, but we had a mix, and it was so hard because the first half of the semester was organic chemistry, which is like a different language. But after about a month, I started to understand the new language, and I was able to piece things together and figure it out and do well. And then biochemistry for the second half of the semester, that was hard because you have to learn every little piece of the cycle, but you can do it, just good study habits there. I also took pathophysiology that semester, and pathophys is just the opposite of physiology. So if physiology shows you how the body's working when it's healthy and functioning, pathophysiology teaches you what happens to your cells when you're sick and when you have a disease, and how medicines are going to help that. And so pathophysiology is also very cool. And that's it for that. My number one tip for these prereqs is just to study and get those skills down pat. Practice in those gen ed classes, getting study routine that works for you, and then finalize it when you're in your prereq classes for nursing. It's really important to get good grades in those. Take advantage of your classmates. Do study groups, because you will definitely be doing those in nursing school. The last thing I wanted to say is don't worry too much about remembering everything from these prereqs. I mean, look at how long this list is. There's no way you could remember everything you learned. Like, it's been 3 years since I took some of these classes. I know I don't remember everything, but you will always review what you need to remember when you're in school. So don't stress yourself out too much about going into nursing school and you forgot what the heck microbiology is about. You'll relearn it if you need to. So that's my tip there.
After all that, I hope this video was helpful to you. That was a ton of information, so if you need to rewatch the video, go for it. It's a big decision, choosing what nursing program you're going into and choosing what you're going to do the next 2 to 4 years of your life. And I just hope this video got you one step closer to making that decision, and I'm so glad I could be a part of it. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking forward to those study tip videos I'll be making soon, you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I am so grateful to all your views and your subscriptions, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in. See you guys later.